In this video, we'll introduce jQuery effects. What jQuery effects are basically special effects that you can apply to any element on a web page. The specific effects, and you'll see that there are many available in the jQuery documentation that we will deal with just to introduce them, are hide and show, for hiding and showing elements that match the selector that you've used to select one or more elements. Once again, we'll start out with a blank HTML document. This is example 1-6 included with these videos. You'll also notice that there's a style sheet linked in with all of these examples, and that contains some of the basic definitions which we're going to start to use here just to format and help it look nice and make the example clearer and easier to understand. You don't have to know a lot about CSS if you don't already, but know that that's there, and feel free to check that out and read up on CSS if you need to. Start out by inserting two div tags with a class of row. And the row class is included with the CSS here. It just breaks things up a little bit on the screen. Inside of the first row, we'll put some more div tags, and we'll give those a class of shape, which is a class being used here, again with the CSS. And first shape we'll create is called a rectangle. There are additional color classes here to give things different colors. We'll make this a red rectangle. We can create some additional shapes, and we will. We'll also create a blue rectangle, a yellow circle, and a green square. Before we go any further, let's see what these look like. There, they've been rendered out to the screen. Red and blue rectangle, yellow circle, and green square. Now we'll go and add a script tag. And inside of this, as usual, we'll do document ready. And we'll put an anonymous function in here. We'll create a selector to select anything with the shape class. We'll bind to the click event on a shape. We'll give the click event a function. This time, we're going to specify some function arguments, e. We could call it e, we could call it args, we could call it whatever we want. We'll call it e for event arguments. What those event arguments do is they contain information about the specific shape that has been clicked. What we can then do is use e target to get the specific shape that's been clicked and hide that shape. Let's take a look at what that looks like. There are the shapes, and when I click them, they're hidden. With the Chrome developer tools, we can see that as each of those shapes is clicked, the style is set to hidden. Display none hides an element. It would also be nice to be able to show the shapes without having to go into the Chrome developer tools and remove the property of display none. We'll create a button to do that. Give it an ID of show all to show all of the shapes. Down here, we'll wire up the click event for that button. We use an ID selector and call the click function. This time, we can just use an anonymous function. We want this button to be hidden by default, so we'll give it a class of hidden. Hidden is a class included with this example that hides any elements it's applied to. Down here, we'll wire up an event that shows all the shapes, the jQuery show event. We'll also add some code here that shows the button once a single shape has been hidden because it's been clicked on. Finally, when this button has been clicked, we'll hide it. There are one of two ways we could do that. We could include some event arguments here and get the target and hide whatever the target is, in this case the show all button, or we could simply make a call using the show all selector and hide it. whenever that button is clicked. Let's take a look at what this looks like. There are the shapes. In the Chrome Developer Tools, we can see that the button is in the DOM, but it's currently hidden. We'll click on the shapes, and as we click the first one, the button appears. If we click that, the button is hidden again and all of the shapes reappear. It seems to be working great. There are other arguments we can apply to this show function as well. This is true of most jQuery effects. For example, we can specify a duration in milliseconds. Let's say 1,000. An easing style, which means how gradually or quickly the show effect actually happens. Does it happen smoothly, or does it happen more quickly as this duration elapses? We'll put in linear to say that it happens smoothly. We can also specify a callback function that's called whenever the effect has completed. When the effect is completed, let's hide the button. That way the button won't actually disappear until this full transformation has happened. Let's take a look at this. We'll hide the shapes by clicking on them. And now when we do show all, there's an animated effect with the button disappearing at the very end. For additional information on jQuery effects, check out the jQuery documentation at api.jquery.com.